Hey, hey, hey. Hey, okay. Out to the paper, the grass is always greener. I don't do no labels, I call it how I see it. Okay, out to the paper, the grass is always greener. I don't do no labels, I call it how I see it.
What does the future look like for your podcast?
Is that how you built a lot of your network? Because you're somebody in the city who people say like connect dots. Like
Yeah.
from me and Nuss was talking about it earlier. Like you got people who do clothing in the shop. You got people, barbers, producers, rappers, like all types of people. So was the car scene is how you got connected to a lot of people?
Yeah, the car scene was the opening because like I used to travel all over the Northeast USA and Canada, and then I ended up going to a car club that was based out of LA that was national, then ended up being worldwide. We have chapters like I think we got like 20 something, 25 chapters in the US, then we have Canada, Germany, Mexico, Japan. So I could just network. Like when people go on tours in some of the major cities, there's 95% chance I'm gonna know someone in there if you need a car or a bar or something to pull up to shoot a video at or something like, and that started to connect the dots. And then when I opened the clothing store, it did it more. Like all the clothing guys were like that I knew that the reps I ended up meeting were just OGs from their neighborhood, whether it be in Harlem or, Compton or whatever. I just met them all, and then we linked up crazy, and we all worked together. And then that's how I kind of met Benny. He needed a car for a video. I had the custom car, so we used that, and then it just kind of clicked like that, and just kept building, and then just and if I'm not one of those people that gatekeep. Like if you come to me and be like, yo man, can I have this guy's number, or how do I do this? I'm not gonna be like no, or I'm not gonna be like, yeah, 2 bands. I don't do that shit. Like, because it don't matter. I'd rather be the person to be like, I hooked you up with this, and then it just makes us both look good. You know what I'm saying? Like when they tell their story or whatever, or they're out there, they're living lavish or going big, and like, oh yeah, Mike helped me out. Like I don't want to be one of those people like, yeah, man, they fucked me over on this or fucked me over. I'm not that type of person, man. Like I just don't do it like that.
Nah, I fuck with that. What's the name of the car? Is it a car club, a car company?
It's a car club. Yeah, Nocturnal Car Club.
Okay, but
Yeah, this is our 25th year, so.
That's fire. So how did Benny know to contact you for the car? Were they like asking around for that specific car, or was?
No, they were like asking, and then they got a hold of Tony De Niro at the time was with them, and then Tony and me had a mutual friend, so then we linked up, and then like a lot of those early videos, Tony was like executive producing. A lot of that shit was like my cars or my buddy's cars or my warehouse or my buddy's bar or something. Like a lot of those videos they shot, like broken bottles, half of the rubber bands and weight joint, even like cruiserweight coke, Tito's back. A lot of those scenarios were involved. I was involved in. The one El Camino joint. I forgot the name of the song. He's driving in a matte black Audi. That's my boy's car. Like we were the ones that was always putting it together. You know what I'm saying? Like, So then I needed a verse from Benny, and then music happened.
What song was that verse for?
For a young kid named Same Dude. So when I had the clothing store, I met someone that was like, oh, this guy his son's a rapper, but he really wants to work with Benny. I see you're with Benny. He's like, can you get him a verse? I was like, well, let me see. And then I met him and his father, and his father's like, yeah, I want to be a barber. His name's Tim. And then I was like, well, we'll get the stuff, and you just set up and start cutting here. He's like, all right. So set him up, and then he's like, oh, Speedy's gonna come record Benny at the store. I was like, all right. And we set it up, and I really liked the situation of someone coming in, recording a track, and then it going out online. I was like, yo, this is fire. We should do this. Speedy was in his basement. I was like, let's bring your equipment in here, and we'll do it here. And then you have a home base. That way, you're not bothering the wife and the kids. You'll get out of the house, and she ain't got to worry about all these people coming in and out recording music, and then it went from there and just kept going and going, and we just kept expanding. I kept networking with clothing companies or clothing people that I knew that knew other hip hop artists or OGs from different neighborhoods that I knew out of town. Like, they would hook me up with people like MC8 or Beanie Siegel or Sue Surf and all those guys. My boy Smoke Bolger in Boston. Like, they're all just like, and then it kind of, we were all on the same path. We all wanted to help each other. So.
That's fire. And what year was the first Struggle Compound store open?
That had to be like 2015, I think, because we just did our 10-year.
Mm-hmm.
It was like blurry in the beginning because it was so like, when I first did it, it was like a big guy store. That's all we did. We sold like XL to 8X.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it was funny because like the minute we started doing music, it just got to skinny people. Like, there's no more big guys coming in. It was like small, medium, large, maybe an XL. I was like, this is crazy. Like, but I guess, rappers don't eat. I don't know. Like, so, but
They're just smoking all day.
yeah, that's but it just really just turned, like, it's real sketchy. But ever since then, it just kind of like, man, every time we open a location, it's just pandemonium. Like, at first, you never know what's going to happen, man. Like, people would come out of town because the first store we had the Benny mural on the side of the building. Mm-hmm. So, like, people would come in, like, oh, I want to get a picture. Yeah, go ahead. People would come in there. We have parties. We have some girls over, maybe stripper parties, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We did whatever we wanted. It was new. We were trying to figure it out. So everything, and dude, like, it was a prime time because Benny and Conway and Wes were going up there. They were getting bigger and bigger, and then we were like kind of like the only, I don't want to say the only studio because there's a bunch of studios out there, but like everyone was coming there. You know what I'm saying? And we were just at a prime spot. So like at one point, Speedy was damn near recording 50 hours plus a week. And then the barber, and then we had all the clothes in there. It was so small, but it kind of worked. Mm-hmm. And it was popping. It was at the gas station, so everyone was there. It was just, and it just, dude, we'd probably be open like 10 a.m. to fucking 4 a.m. every day, dude. People were constantly there. And then, we had other buddies that wanted to do their own business, so we're like, okay, we'll expand. And then we moved to the bigger location.
Then y'all moved to the plaza?
To the plaza, and then, then that had its own, like, we moved in there, and that was right around when COVID hit, and we were kind of already in the middle of moving. I was like, well, we got to keep going, like, we can't stop now. And we went there, and then kind of like everyone started to fall off a little bit. I'm like, damn. So then when they started to fall off a little bit, I was like, well, give these guys their space to kind of figure out what they want to do. We got the space rented. Everyone's in here. Everything's moving still good, So I teamed up with Benny. Benny was like, well, instead of you going and signing to a label, why don't you come to us and you can help, with my artists, and we'll release your music through us. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I helped, manage Rick Hyde for a little bit. And then, I would go on tour and like I was a soldier. If he, if I'm usually like a leader in things, but if someone needs me to, jump, like when I jumped on his team, I wasn't used as much as they probably should have.